Running a Fever, episode 429, Hot Flashes Cold Truth, part 4, Running Through the Change, Fitness, Fatigue, and Recovery. Welcome back to Running a Fever, the podcast where we chase vitality, clarity, and strength no matter what the season of life. It's all about living long and loving life. Menopause isn't just a hormonal shift. For active women, it can feel like the body's playbook has been rewritten mid-game. Endurance that once came easily may fade faster. Recovery can take longer, and the fuel that used to power a run might suddenly fall short. But this isn't the end of the race. It's a new course to master. In this fourth episode in our series on menopause, we'll explore how midlife changes in metabolism, muscle repair, and energy balance affect training, and how smart adjustments in workouts, nutrition, and hydration can keep you moving strong. We'll also discuss how physical activity can actually help women adjust to the changes and ameliorate the symptoms. So how does menopause affect endurance, recovery, and metabolism? When estrogen and progesterone begin their steady decline in perimenopause, they set off a chain reaction that touches nearly every system an active body relies on. These hormones aren't just about reproduction. They influence how muscles repair, how efficiently we use oxygen, and even how our bodies decide to store or burn fuel. The impacts on endurance? Lower oxygen efficiency. Estrogen helps blood vessels stay flexible and supports oxygen delivery to working muscles. As levels drop, some women notice a dip in stamina or a higher perceived effort for the same workout. A shift in fuel use. With less estrogen, the body leans more on carbohydrate stores and less on fat oxidation during exercise, which can shorten time to fatigue in endurance activities. What about recovery? Muscle repair is slower. Estrogen has anti-inflammatory effects and supports protein synthesis. Its decline can mean more post-workout soreness and longer recovery windows. Joint and tendon changes. Reduced collagen production can make connective tissue stiffer, increasing the risk of overuse injuries if training loads aren't adjusted. How does it affect metabolism? Arresting metabolic rate drop. On average, women burn about 100 to 200 fewer calories per day at rest after menopause, largely due to the loss of lean muscle mass. Body composition shift. Fat distribution often moves from hips and thighs to the abdominal area, that's visceral fat, which is more metabolically active and linked to higher health risks. An energy gap. Combined with a natural decline in spontaneous activity, this can create a approximately 230 kilocalories per day gap if eating habits stay the same. Now, these changes aren't a sign to slow down. They're a signal to train smarter. By adjusting intensity, recovery time, and nutrition, midlife athletes can maintain and even improve performance. And that's where the good news comes in. Because with the right adjustments, you can keep your performance strong and even discover new strengths you didn't know you had. Here's some tips for adapting your training routines. Tip number 1, prioritize strength training. 2 to 3 sessions a week of compound movements, squats, deadlifts, push-ups, help preserve muscle and bone density. Start with body weight or bands, then progress to weights. Tip number 2, adjust intensity and volume. Mix moderate intensity cardio with shorter HIIT sessions, that's high intensity interval training. Pay attention to recovery cues. If soreness lingers beyond 48 hours, scale back or swap in active recovery. Tip number 3, build in recovery days. At least one full rest day per week, plus lighter deload weeks every couple of months, can help you bounce back stronger. Here's a secret tip. Bodybuilders of all ages do this, and you can get some additional info from a search on bodybuilding deload. Tip number 4, support joints and tendons. Add low-impact cross-training like cycling or swimming and warm up thoroughly to protect connective tissue. Tip number 5, keep it social and sustainable. Training with others boosts motivation and keeps workouts enjoyable, a key ingredient for long-term consistency. Now we'll look at how nutrition and hydration strategies can work hand in hand with these training tweaks, giving your body the fuel it needs to adapt, recover, and thrive through the change. Training smarter is only half the equation. The other half is how you fuel and hydrate your body so it can adapt, repair, and perform at its best. Here's some ways you can do this. Number 1, get protein for muscle preservation and recovery. Why it matters? Muscle protein synthesis naturally slows with age, making it harder to maintain lean mass. How much do you need? Aim for 1.2 to 2.0 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily to spread evenly across meals. Americans take note, kilograms, not pounds. What about the timing of your meal? Include 20 to 40 grams of high-quality protein. That's whey, eggs, lean meats, dairy, or well-combined plant sources within 30 minutes post-workout to jumpstart repair. Number 2, carbohydrates for energy and hormonal balance. Why this matters? With reduced estrogen, your body leans more on carbs during exercise. The kinds of food that you need should contain complex carbs, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, to replenish glycogen without spiking blood sugar. You should fuel up with carbs before long or intense sessions and refuel within 2 hours after. Number 3, healthy fats for inflammation control. This matters because omega-3 fatty acids can help reduce joint stiffness and inflammation. Some sources are fatty fish like salmon or sardines, also walnuts, flaxseed, and chia seeds. Number 4, hydrate for performance and recovery. Thirst sensitivity declines with age, and sweat sodium concentration can increase. Before exercise, drink 5 to 7 milliliters for each kilogram you weigh, water or electrolyte-rich fluid about 4 hours before training, which for you Americans, again, that's about 1 ounce per 10 pounds of body weight. While you're working out, drink a bottle of water every hour, preferably with electrolytes, especially sodium and potassium. Post-workout, replace 150% of the fluid lost, so weigh yourself before and after. If you lose a whole pound, drink at least 12 ounces of water or sports drink like Gatorade or Mio Sport. Number 5, micronutrients. Vitamin D and calcium support bone density, which is especially important during the post-menopause years. Magnesium adds muscle function and recovery. You can probably get these with a multivitamin. Creatine can also help maintain strength and power in short bursts. You can get that in powder form, probably at your local grocery store. Can physical exercise help with menopause symptoms? Sam Palmer thinks so. In an article on My Menopause Center, she says, "In my late 40s, I noticed I was starting to run in wobbly lines. I was used to covering up to 20 miles, so to suddenly find myself so dizzy that I couldn't run straight was scary. My mind jumped to the worst scenario, that I had a brain tumor. Looking back, I think that was the beginning of perimenopause. As I reached my early 50s, I became uncharacteristically anxious. This reached a peak when I was about 53. Sam goes on to say that HRT was a big help. This seems to be a common thread among the stories I've found. She goes on, I began looking at exercises that build muscles and would give me the same feel-good buzz. And importantly for me, because I love to eat, which would allow me to eat cake. I also started to think about longevity. I didn't want someone wheeling me to the toilet as I got older, so I wanted a workout that would help me stay fit and active well into my 80s. Strength training really has been a game changer. It makes me feel confident, motivated, smug that I can do something for 30 minutes and it's done. And surprisingly to me, I feel more empowered than ever. And now I'm a grandmother. It's wonderful to be able to lift my grandchild with ease. Sam is also a fitness coach and was a marathon runner until these events occurred. Another article you might want to read is by Normie Koto on Run and Be Brave. It's called Running and Menopause, the 9 Ways I Made It Through the Roughest Running Year to Date. Normie is a teacher and runner who found it difficult to get back into running after moving to a new town. She was afraid menopause was going to force her to stop. She says, "Here I was 53 years old. I'd raced every distance from the 800 to the marathon. I still had planned to run at least one ultramarathon, but I could barely get 4 miles in consistently. Physically, my legs felt heavy during runs. My knees ached every time I got up from a seat. My joints hurt, and I was always tired. I felt and hobbled about like a 90-year-old woman. I wasn't thriving. I wasn't pushing myself through the motions. The biggest problem was sleep. It was disrupted by hot flashes, racing thoughts, or, more frustratingly, nothing at all. Normie got her running mojo, as she called it, back after committing to a running partner, a challenging race, and increased strength training. She stopped worrying about speed. Her goal was to finish an ultramarathon. She cut back on alcohol, increased her iron and protein intake, and started HRT, which helped her sleep better. She recalibrated her mindset, keeping in mind that age is just a number, and adjusting her expectations based on her current reality. Instead of obsessing on races, she sought out new places to run and explore, started listening to music as she ran, and did a lot more smiling. Menopause may change the rules of the game, but it doesn't take you out of it. Yes, endurance can feel harder, recovery can take longer, and metabolism may shift. But these are signals, not stop signs. By understanding what's happening inside your body, you can adapt your training, fuel smarter, and give yourself the recovery you need to keep performing at your best. Strength work to protect muscle and bone, smart adjustments to intensity and volume, and a nutrition plan that supports energy and repair, these aren't compromises, they're upgrades. And as we've heard, with the right mindset and strategies, midlife can be a time of surprising breakthroughs. So whether you're chasing a personal best or simply want to keep moving with confidence, remember, the change doesn't define your limits, it redefines your potential. Next time, we'll be looking at how menopause impacts relationships with family and friends. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm always glad to receive emails at mail@runningafever.com. I'd love to know about your experience with menopause and exercise and how it's been affected in your life and how it has helped. I look forward to your responses. Until then, if you got the fever, keep it burning. And if you don't, catch the fever. And I will see you next time on Running a Fever.